Welcome to Flim Flam Films. I'm Stephen Mommy. Joining me, like always, the long-haired warrior himself, sitting at about maybe 4'3". I don't know. Well, sitting also at about a whopping 152.
Yeah.
The man from Enterprise, Alabama, Zane Gray Wilson.
Yeah. Also, man, I'm not actually sitting. I'm standing. That's how short I am.
Yeah, I tower over him.
Yeah, it's very, very intimidating.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I'm in a pink shirt, heels wear pink.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is take 2, I guess.
Of
We
the
had
wrestling
we
show.
had a guest on, Jay. Shout out to Jay. He was a great help, a great guest. Not a shout out to whoever rerouted everything, so we had no audio.
Yeah, that was a great episode.
It was a very good episode, and I'm real bummed that Jay isn't on it now. But he did a great job. He helped me explain a lot of stuff about wrestling to Zane. So we're gonna re-talk about wrestling. We're gonna talk about some of the matches we talked about on the previous show that didn't save any audio, but the video looked flawless.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna talk about some of the matches we watched. We're gonna talk about all the brands that you watched, what you like more. The only thing that I still regret that we didn't do a lot of was watch some promos, because promos are a very important thing of wrestling, and it helps you like or hate characters like tenfold. Like some people, like I'm a big promo guy, so I like people slowly. I can like somebody slowly off a promo that they cut, versus like they could have fantastic matches, but if they're like, duh, duh, I don't know what to say on the mic, somebody help me, I'm like, I don't really care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the idea behind this was that I had never watched wrestling before.
Mm-hmm.
I'd seen bits and pieces from when I was a kid, but this was like my first real introduction to it. And Steven and Jay, we all sat down with a couple other people, and we just watched a lot of wrestling.
Yep.
And then Steven and I last night watched some more wrestling.
Yeah, watch some more wrestling. So we got. I think we had a good mix of everything. I'm sure people will be upset if I didn't show you certain things, but you know what? They can get over it. There's only so much wrestling you can watch without being like, okay, I need a break.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we watched a good amount. We watched Takeover, NXT Takeover, Chicago from this past Saturday. We watched Lucha Bros versus Young Bucks, the ladder match for the AAA titles at All Out.
Mm-hmm.
We watched the Casino Battle Royale at All Out.
Yeah.
We watched Chris Jericho versus... No, that was Double or Nothing. I'm sorry. And then we watched All Out, Chris Jericho versus Hangman Page. We watched Joey Ryan versus Orange Cassidy. Joey Ryan versus Scarlett. I don't know how to say her last name. Who's in NXT now. Which neither of us had saw that match before, and it was... We'll get into that match later.
It was very risque.
Yeah. We also watched a death match, and I can't remember their name, but you just
awesome.
type in Light Tube death match on YouTube, and it's one of the first ones that pop up. We also watched one of the arguably one of the greatest matches of all time, The Rock versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania. I want to say, was it 18 or 17? 18. And then did we watch? Was it the only like real WWE match that we really watched last night?
I think that was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then am I missing? Oh, and then did we watch any other Orange Cassidy matches?
No.
No. So
Just the one with him and Joey Ryan.
Should I get everything?
Yeah, well, yeah. Oh, he was
And
also
then-
in the Royal Rumble thing for like a minute.
Oh yeah. And then we also watched one promo. We watched the recent promo on AEW between SCU and Chris Jericho, and Jack Hager was just standing there. So we watched that promo. That was like his only real promo that he watched, got to listen to. And then and then we watched the X Division match from last night. We watched Orange Cassidy versus Joey Janela, Ultimate X match with Homicide Suicide, Christopher Daniels, Amazing Red, and Motor City Machine Guns. So we got a TNA match in there. And then Ibushi versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
Mm-hmm.
So those are all the matches. So I think I didn't count how many that is, but
Yeah,
that's
so we
that's
watched
a
a
good
lot
amount.
of wrestling to say, or to I forgot the word. Anyway, uh, I definitely have to say I enjoy wrestling. I enjoyed all of it. Well, most of it. Some of the matches were a little slow to start.
Yeah,
Uh, but I'm much more keen on looking into getting into the world of wrestling
it's a
and
big
stuff
world,
like
man.
that. And I guess I'll re-ask some of the questions I had when I was like I was wondering, after watching it, wrestlers they go through a lot physically. They have to, they're very close all the time when they're doing moves to getting critically injured with some of them.
Oh yeah.
And
And then we also watch deadliest moves in wrestling that can go bad.
yes, thank you for interrupting,
Yeah,
Steven.
I had to
Thank
throw
you.
that back in there.
But and I was wondering, so like they do wrestlers get health insurance or like health benefits?
No, it depends on basically no, for the most part, no. A lot of them do like on-site medical. So like if you get like concussed in a match, usually there's a medical team there that could be like, hey, you've gotten a concussion, and then you'll go to like the ER or whatnot. WWE does surgeries if you get hurt like on the job, what Jay was saying last time. But the only company, from my knowledge, that really does insurance is AEW, and that's only for like their full-time employees.
Mm-hmm.
And then WWE does insurance to everyone except for wrestlers, basically.
Really?
Yeah, anybody that's on the commentating team, like
The
employee
referees?
like that, referees. I'm pretty sure all of them are paid full and full.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and you also, I don't know if we talked about it, but wrestlers also pay for the most part their traveling fees. So
Oh,
they
wait,
book
didn't say that also.
they book hotels, they drive, they pay for their own flights. Unless if you're like you get paid so much and they like pay for like you to have your own bus. Because I think like Sasha Banks has her own bus now. I think she's one of the first female wrestlers in WWE to get a bus. So she's literally on like one of those travel tour buses by herself, getting driven from place to place when needed.
Interesting. So I guess kind of to go something else. So we talked a lot about American and Japanese wrestling. Are there any other countries that also have really big wrestling scenes?
Not
Like
not
that?
comparably, not to those. Like countries are slowly getting more. Like Saudi Arabia had their first women's match, but that was from WWE. China slowly becoming bigger in wrestling. They have, I think, OWA, and some of their guys work for AEW, like Shima and the Strong Hearts. They're all from, well, Shima's from Japan, but a lot of like the Strong Hearts are from China and stuff. So they're slowly building. Oh, yeah. Well, there's one other country, Mexico. Mexico wrestling is
Yeah.
out of this world. But other than like Japan, Mexico, and America, Canada's pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
But you just have a lot of like, arguably, Canada has made some of the best wrestlers on the planet. Like Chris Jericho's Canadian, Bret Hart's Canadian, Kenny Omega's Canadian. Currently, right now, Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega are two arguably one the greatest performers right now, and they're both from Canada.
So have you and Jay watched a lot of Mexican wrestling then, or is it mostly for you just American? And
Yeah, it's
Japanese?
mostly from. I think Jay's definitely watched more Japan wrestling than me. I've definitely just watched a lot of like American wrestling, and I've started more on indies. And then the only real like AAA stuff that I've watched, so that's like Mexico. I want to say it's Mexico's biggest company. I've only really watched stuff when like the Young Bucks are over there or Kenny and them. So
Okay, cool.
I haven't watched a lot of Mexican wrestling.
Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed learning all the lingo.
Oh yeah,
For
like
different
heels,
wrestling. Yeah.
marks,
Mm-hmm.
baby faces,
Yes. Yes.
spots,
So a
botch.
heel is bad guy.
Yeah.
Babyface is a good guy.
Yep.
A pop is like when there's a big uproar in the crowd
Yeah,
when something
yep.
really hype is going on. And then there's a seller.
Yeah, what a sell is.
What a
Yeah.
sell when you
So it's how like the way you.
react to a move,
Yeah.
how you take it.
Yeah, that's called like selling.
Mm-hmm.
And then you remember what spot is?
No.
So spot is basically like a move, but like a
Okay.
specific like spot. So like a big spot, You remember during the Lucha Bros match when basically he did a sunset flip over, I want to say Matt Jackson and Pentagon. So Pentagon was in the black and blue
Okay.
face paint. His mask was torn off, and he jumped over him, and then it looked like Matt's head went first into the table.
And
That's a spot when Nick was pushed off, and he tripped on the rope and then fell through that table and then cut up his hand. That's a spot.
So a spot is basically a really big flashy move that's not a finisher.
Yeah, almost. Yeah,
Okay.
it can still be a finisher.
A spot can be a finisher.
It can
but
be a finisher,
isn't
but like
necessarily a
really
spot.
like a crazy spot. It's just like a spot is basically a move
Okay.
transition, and then
You have bumps.
bumps, which is just the way you take the move, how you fall.
Oh, so it's also a sell.
Yeah. Well, so some of them can like mean like both. So like a bump, like if I clotheslined you, the way you hit the mat is a bump.
Mm-hmm.
But then after you take your bump, you can sell it. So a good example would be Stone Cold, Steve Austin, and The Rock. Whenever The Rock he took the stunner. So the bump is right where Stone Cold lands, and the immediate fall for The Rock
Is the sell?
is the bump.
Oh. Okay.
But afterwards, have you ever seen the videos where like Rock like hits and then does like a flip and rolls and
Mhm.
stuff like that? Okay, well, there's some when he gets stunned and he hits the ground and then he rolls and bounces back up like it stunned him and like flew him across the ring. That would be a sell.
Okay.
Yeah, so like if a super exaggerated thing, the way you take like a hit, like like when you get punched in the face and you see them groggy and they're like,
Mm-hmm.
that's part of selling.
Okay.
So it's the way you take moves, and then a bump is literally like hitting the ground.
So one thing that was kind of interesting for me to get over, I guess, the hump for me to go over to like kind of get into the wrestling when we were watching it was so strange to me how like it's essentially wrestling is like interactive theater, right?
Yeah.
And it's obviously it's fake, and they just put on a performance for everyone to enjoy, right? Like they're acting.
Yeah.
And that's no different from a TV show or a normal theatrical play or a movie. But just because for some reason when everyone's there watching it and it's like live action like that, it's just there's something strange about it to me that you have to get through first. It's very strange, even though it's the same thing. It's just different seeing it live because when Jay was on the show, he was talking when we were talking about this. He was talking about how like people immediately go to like if you talk about wrestling, like, oh, it's fake.
Yeah, it's
Well, like yeah, it is, but why is that such a big deal? You know?
It's. I mean, I want to consider like it is a big deal for like people, but I don't know why people just hate on it. I think the real reason why people hate on it is because it's cool to hate on it. So like, like people that like, so you know about like video games and you play consoles. How like some people just refuse to even care. Like if you're a PlayStation, like a diehard of PlayStation, like this is a stretch, but it's kind of like the same. You're just like, no, Xbox terrible. Don't even care. Don't even want to know about it. Period. End of discussion. They forever and always will never
They're
be
just
open.
like a blind fan.
Blind fan. Yeah, that's how people are to wrestling. They're just like, no, it's fake. Do you know it's fake? And we're like, dude, I'm not 6 years old. Of course I know it's fake.
Yeah, it's not about that though.
Yeah, it's not. It's
just
about the
enjoying it, having a
performance.
good time.
It's an art form. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people that wrestle are very creative people, and they
Mhm.
like to be, like Shinsuke. He's literally called the artist, like, because it's an art form. Yeah. All performers, entertainers.
Yeah, and of the matches we watched, definitely my favorite. In addition to the ones we watched last night, I really enjoyed Orange Cassidy.
Which one?
When he fought Joey Janela.
Joey Janela.
I
yeah.
love that one. And I also love when he fought Joey Ryan.
Yeah.
Because he was definitely more like expressive in that fight against Joey.
Oh yeah. Well, they're
'Cause he
both
was-
Joey, so you gotta be more specific.
Huh? Joey Ryan.
Joey Ryan, yeah.
Super dog style.
King of the Dome style.
Because he was like yelling and like talking and stuff. And so
Yeah.
just like
Well, he does that in like a lot of the match. Like he has a match that I would recommend you watching. It's him versus Colt Cabana. Colt Cabana basically flipped indie wrestling on its head. He basically was like the first person in indie wrestling that was like I can make lots of money. He basically helped start Pro Wrestling Tees. And he makes so much money. He was like one of the first people that did like a huge podcast for wrestling. He has a match with Orange Cassidy, and they're wrestling outside at a local indie show. And Orange Cassidy has like a manager at the time or a friend called like I don't think he's called Swamp Thing, but he's basically like Swamp Thing. He's basically in a ghillie suit the whole time, and that's it. He's like, "Hey, go get me a beer," and he goes and finds Orange Cassidy a beer, and the whole match, Orange Cassidy has this beer in his hand, and he does not want to spill it. So, like, he'll take, like, a chop, and he'll be like, whoa.
Wait a minute, I think you actually showed me this one.
Yeah, I think I showed you some clips, if not the whole match. But, yeah, he's holding the beer the whole time, and then Colt Cabana's like, what? And then he goes to the top rope holding the beer, he goes, 630. And then he just goes to jumping. I don't want to spoil the end of the match, but it's a really good match.
Yeah, but I enjoy, excuse me, I enjoy a lot of the wacky stuff of the wrestling, but I also enjoy kind of the more, not realistic, but the match with Original Bro
and Finn Balor,
yeah, that one I definitely noticed.
Well, some of the wrestling is real wrestling.
I know some, like they had like incorporated more like techniques and stuff like that, and grapples and stuff like that. I also enjoyed that a lot too. Because that was probably my second favorite after the Orange Cassidy. That was your second favorite?
Orange Cassidy, and then that. You didn't. Okay, so let's talk about. So, one match that I did not watch beforehand, but I was trying to find Zane a good Joey Ryan match, and the first one that, like, really popped out that I hadn't seen that was, like, Orange Cassidy or whatnot was against Scarlett. You know, everybody knows Scarlett, I hope. Now she's in NXT. But her gimmick is she's really. Do you remember what a gimmick is?
Is that she's very attractive?
No, not her, but just what gimmick means. Your character.
Yeah.
Your persona.
It's like your thing.
Yeah. Her gimmick is she's really, really attractive.
Wow.
Yeah. And Joey Ryan's gimmick is obviously he's the king of the dong style of most.
He can throw people with his penis.
Yeah. And so this match, I was like, king of the dong style versus like the 11. Sexy lady. And they come out. And she's dressed up as like a school teacher, and Joey Ryan's a student. He has a book bag. And it almost became like, it was just basically a striptease match. And Joey Ryan tapped out because he got a pencil shoved up his butthole. It didn't make any sense. I wasn't prepared for it. Zane wasn't prepared for it. My girlfriend that was there, she wasn't prepared for it. It was just all wild.
Because throughout the match, every other minute it seemed like Joey Ryan was taking one article of clothing off of her at a time, and I was surprised. I was like, he's taking off like 5 things. How is she still covered?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, it's very enjoyable though.
I mean, it was wacky fun. He kept just pulling out fun school gimmick stuff, like
because
used an eraser on her head, had a big old pencil that was the end of the match.
Because I mean, to me, I don't think it was in bad taste at all. You know,
no,
they had fun with it.
But yeah, they had fun, and like a big thing, like a lot of people don't like, because like Joey Ryan gives her boobplex and stuff. Before all those matches, like I've heard multiple interviews with Joey Ryan, and he's like, yeah, before I talk to them, and I go, hey, if you're not comfortable with any of this, let me know. We won't do any of it. Like to the point where if they're not comfortable taking the dick flip or whatnot,
he won't do
his finisher, he won't do it. He'll like go the whole match trying to get them to do it, but he'll never do it. And you can see in like certain matches, like they won't even grab his junk area. They'll grab like his inner thigh, and he can still flip them from the inner thigh, just because
doing that, he's just
his penis is so close. And what was really good about that match is that the audience, like the camera work wasn't the greatest.
Because they had like one camera
guy running back and forth. But the fans, the crowd was great, and the audio for the match was great. Except for the entire time Scarlett was moaning. The entire time. I don't even know if it was a moan, a groan, and pain, excitement. I don't know. But it was just the entire time. But yeah, that match was pretty fun to watch, entertaining. Definitely was a curve from all the other ones.
Oh, we watched the WrestleMania with The Rock and Hulk Hogan. That one I enjoyed the most because of the story.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that one the most of the story. I enjoyed that more than the actual match. Like, after it, when Hulk went up to Rock and he, like, shook his hand and stuff like that, and then Hulk's teammates came up and started beating him up because they were upset that he lost, and then The Rock came back and defended him.
Yeah, see,
I love that.
So that, like, a lot of matches. So WWE does not know what a storyline really is anymore. So that's why, like, in NXT, you didn't really see all that much because of War Games, because it was just kind of like rush because they want to beat AEW in ratings.
Mm-hmm.
And they finally did when they had, like, all their biggest superstars on NXT from, like, their main shows, Raw and SmackDown. But, like, if you were to watch, like, the Cody Rhodes and Dustin Rhodes match that got 5 stars,
Mm-hmm.
you would have the same, like, reaction. Especially if you watch, like, the vignettes they put out beforehand, you're just like, okay. Okay, because me and Jay talked about it a little bit in the last time when we were talking about, like, how they have a weird relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Dustin got cut open in that match, so he had full red face of blood. More so than the Chris Jericho match that we watched. He kind of almost looked like the death match guys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I think he used a regular blade. So I think he bladed himself to get the blood.
Oh, I actually know what that is.
Yeah.
Because, have you seen the movie The Wrestler?
Yeah. A very long time ago.
Okay, yeah. That's how I know from that.
Yeah, they tried to get him. They almost wanted to do a spot at WrestleMania with him, like in an actual match against, like, Chris Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
But instead what they did, Chris Jericho fought, like, 3 other, like, really old wrestlers. Like, I want to say Ricky Steamboat was one of them. I want to say maybe Roddy Piper, could be completely wrong.
Piper.
But I know Ricky was one, and then they had that guy, like, punch Chris Jericho in the face for a spot. But yeah, because that was a big deal. Yeah, and then what was your least favorite match again?
I mean, both of the first War Games.
So the one
that
that
we
was War
watched.
Games match?
Oh, yeah, just because, like, it was so slow to start with.
Yeah.
And that was the first one we watched.
Yeah.
And I was honestly, I was kind of like, when is this?
Is this how it's going to be?
Yeah. When is this going to start?
But it picked up. I think last night, the matches were much faster paced.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when we started watching, like, the Rumble, and then with, like, the staple guns and all the different spots. So every time somebody got hit with a staple gun, that was a spot. When Luchasaurus chokeslammed Joey Janela through that table, that's a spot.
So, I have a quick question about the WrestleMania we watched.
Yeah, Hulk
I know you
Hogan
said you're not really the biggest fan of Hulk Hogan, but do you enjoy that match though?
Oh, I enjoy the match because The Rock won. So, of course. And it's not that I don't like Hulk Hogan as a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think he's, like, I get, like, his significance and his importance. But of his tag team with Macho Man, I'm a big Macho Man, Randy Savage, over Hulk Hogan. So I just was never all gung-ho about Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, but
and because I just don't like the leg drop as a finisher. I think it's lame.
So
You heard it here first. Leg drops are lame. The only one that I like is Frankie Kazarian's springboard leg drop. And that's ridiculous. He's going to be short when he gets old.
So, the first match we watched last night, the, like, Royal Rumble type thing in Vegas, I liked all the wrestlers in that. Like, that was AEW, right?
Yeah, some of them aren't technically signed for AEW. Some of them are indie guys, like Brian Pillman Jr., works for Major League Wrestling. Tommy Dreamer, he's a legend. Billy Gunn's like a coach for AEW, I believe, like a trainer.
Yeah.
Tommy Dreamer runs, like, his own school and stuff, but he was a legend in ECW. That's why he had, like, the trash can stuff, just bopping everybody in the head with the trash can lid.
But I enjoy the AEW and, like, the indie wrestlers more than, like, the WWE wrestlers. Yeah. I like their personas and stuff more. I really liked, let's see, obviously Orange Cassidy was in there for a second. I liked
MJF.
I like him.
Yeah, and you only saw him in the Battle Royale too.
Yeah.
That's how good MJF is, because he's just a good cuck. Like, he's the best cuck you could think of, because he's just, like, so good at playing a cuck. Because he's just himself.
Because at the start of the match, the first 5 that are in there is him, 3 other people, and then there's this one wrestler, I don't remember his name, but he doesn't have, like, the bottom
in the words of MJF, Lieutenant Dan.
Yes, he's missing the bottom half of his legs, and he immediately goes over and starts kicking him.
He's like, "You're nothing, Lieutenant Dan."
And I liked Luchasaurus. He was cool.
He actually has a master's degree, and part of his gimmick, So they do like Being the Elite. You watch one of those. When he was on the episode with like Jungle Boy, because they're like a tag team, and Marco
they're riding
Stunt, the
all
little
bike.
kid, riding the bike. Casually, he'll put on his glasses over his mask, and he'll be like, because I have a I have a master's degree. Whenever he's like in an argument, he'll just pull, and it's in like, I think it's like, I want to say it's like medieval literature or something like around there. Romance. It's a very like random degree.
Yeah, I think you mean Renaissance stuff, not
Yeah,
medieval.
Renaissance. Yeah.
I also like the bald guy that.
Oh,
that
Frankie
was-
Kazarian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had that little gimmick.
Do ya?
Oh, I just liked it when he went to Joe Janelle and he was like, "What'd you say to her?" And he's like, "Brussels sprouts." He's like, "No, the other thing, man, the other thing."
Yeah, and then he does his little bit. Yeah. He's part of the trio SCU. So that trio is really good. Just, and this is the worst town I've ever been in. That's great. So you said the women's match was your least favorite.
Yeah. Just because it was really slow at the start.
Slow at the start.
I love the heel turn though, even though Jay said it made no sense.
It did.
Hilarious.
Okay, here's the thing. It did not make any sense. For real, like it didn't make sense. And then like I wasn't even mad about the heel turn because like I didn't care about her story because I didn't watch NXT at the time before she got hurt. But it didn't make sense to me because like the way that the rules are of War Games, it just didn't make any sense. And
Yeah,
then
you
because
were
like
because
then
of
the
the
main
rules.
event, they just throw in a random person. I was like, he could have just had Rhea Ripley could have just had like an extra person. There was all these other people that could have just showed up and helped her. I don't understand. There's a bunch of people in Chicago. She could have got Toni Storm. She could have wrestled 2 nights in a row. She wrestled in Survivor Series. I was just like, I don't understand. Also, Survivor Series, they did a scoring like NXT brand versus Raw versus SmackDown. NXT won. Half of the people that wrestled in those matches wrestled in that TakeOver steel cage match, where they were all like half dead by the end of it, and then they just show up the next night and just wipe the floor with people. I don't understand. Booking doesn't make any sense.
All right.
Yeah, it was good stuff though. I'm glad that you liked it. That makes
Yeah, overall, like I said, I enjoy it. I was never, I never had anything against wrestling. I just never watched it.
yeah.
It never really interested me. But now, after this experience, I'm definitely gonna watch more of it.
Yeah. And you don't have to, and this is the best thing about right now. We're in a wrestling booming period. There's so many options. A lot of them are free. Like, you can watch a lot of, like, indie stuff, like Ring of Honor. Well, they're not really indie, but, like, Ring of Honor, Major League Wrestling, where, like I said, Brian Pillman Jr. is at. That's the guy with the sweet mullet that you saw in the Battle Royale. He's over there. MJF was from over there. And that's like on the Fight TV app, and they do free episodes. And then AEW's on TNT, WWE's on USA and Fox. So you got a bunch of good stuff.
Okay.
So we got anything else, man?
No, just want to say thank you to you and Jay, even though he's not here, for
I mean, he's looking mad at Jay. He was by the door.
yeah.
Had class.
I'm glad that you guys showed this brand new exciting world to me because
This
I
new
definitely
world.
want to dip my toe in a little bit more, dive in.
Yeah, just be careful. There are a lot of good wrestling, and there's a lot of bad wrestling.
I definitely liked the non-WWE stuff more than the WWE stuff.
Yeah. Well, their big thing is AEW's big thing is we're not competition, we're alternative. Because you can never kill a multi-billion-dollar corporation like the WWE, but AEW is for the fans, by a couple of fans. That's why they have 4 wrestlers as vice presidents of the company. But yeah, it was fun. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I would definitely say you need to watch more. Actually, like get invested in one storyline, and then see the turnout of it.
Okay.
And then see how you feel after like an actual invested storyline, and then watch that match and be like, wow.
Yeah, I just want Orange Cassidy to win everything, every belt ever.
You're not the only one. I wanted him. So they're doing AEW is doing a Diamond Dozen Battle Royale, and the last 2 face off for this ring because they don't want to do like a mid-card title because they don't want people to think like if they're the mid-card champion they can't go for the world championship. It's like a I think it's like 7.5 diamond carat ring. And it's like MJF and the Cowboy,
Hangman.
Adam Page, and they're versus each other for this big old ring presented by DDP, Diamond Dallas Page. And boy, I wanted Orange Cassidy to win so bad. He could put it on his thumb, dude. Put his hands in his pocket, bro. The endless things that he could have done. He was the only babyface that I thought could have won it. But MJF's gonna win that match, landslide. Predicting it right now because he's a heel. He's great on the mic. I've showed you one of his promos where he just makes fun of when the Fyter Fest, when he talks about all the nerds. And he's like, yeah, I used to like video games. Let's get it. Video games. But then I lost my virginity and it pans to that one guy like, it's great. So he's going to get it, and then he's going to get it over with the crowd. Do you remember what getting over is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, one more small thing. I did notice the crowds at like AEW stuff. They cut over to the crowds a lot more, and they have like reactions.
Yeah, the reason for that is because the fans actually react more, so you have more shots. Yeah, that's not a joke.
Yeah, but the world of wrestling is great. I encourage anyone that's even a little bit interested to try and watch it. Because it's really great. And like Steven said, they're in like a boom right now.
And there's plenty of options for each type of wrestling. If you want to just watch ladder matches constantly, there are a bunch of them. Yeah, if you want to watch table matches, there's a bunch of them.
Ladder matches, steel cage, triple threat,
death
Royal
matches.
Rumble, death matches. I like death matches. I found that out.
Yeah, you can watch there. If you can think of it, there's probably it. And that's all you need, man. Fit what you want. Get what you want. Well, Zane, it was a pleasure, like always. The audio recorded this time. So it's a sad note. We're almost done. We have technically one more, even though we're recording this one second. But your one is the last one.
It's a little Beatles situation.
So this is kind of the last one, but not uploaded last. But it's a sad note because we're done. Seniors.
Yeah, but
graduating.
This is not the end of Flim Flam Films.
Oh boy, is it not?
This is just the end of Flim Flam Films, like stage one, or here at the university.
One day, whenever me and Zane see
Zane.
each other, if one of us ever contact the other one, that's the real issue. Who contacts who first?
We could just not contact each other and both of us separately start our own Flim Flam Films.
No, we still just keep using our password and we just keep putting out like content without like anybody's knowledge other than ours, and it just gets big and they're like, Satan, it would be a good storyline. We break up our friendship and then we still use the show, and then eventually we have a reunion tour and we're just killing it.
That'd be cool.
Good tag team. That's a good storyline.
Could definitely have.
Already better than WWE booking. I did it. Woo.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well,
hope you all have a wonderful day.
Wonderful day. And if you look at Zane's the last episode, you'll finally figure out what we call our fans. Are you the Flims? Are you the Flams? Or are you the puppies? Find out.
I've never said puppies before now.
Next time. Dude, they're my puppies, dog.
All right, whatever.
Or they're my Flams. Or they're my Flams. All right. We love you guys. Say it, Zane. Say you love them.
Love who?
Our fans, dude.
I don't know them.
All 20 of them. You know like at least 7 of them, okay?
I love you, Jake.
Okay.